If New Zealand is on your travel list, this video is for you. We have a form where you can request personalized award search tutorials for free at geobreezetravel.com/request. And we get a ton of requests for how to fly to New Zealand, even though it is one of the trickiest destinations to book with points, especially if you're traveling during certain times of the year or you need multiple tickets in business class. But in today's video, we have some solutions for you. In case we haven't met, my name is Julia and I am the founder of GeoBreeze Travel. I personally get about $100,000 worth of travel every year for about 90% off by using points and miles. And we typically save our clients more than $30,000 in travel in the first 6 months of working with our team. And we want to provide you with a clear path to luxury travel with these step-by-step tutorials too. So here's how to find some great flight options over to Auckland, New Zealand.
So let's talk through how to find all of your different flight options into Auckland, New Zealand. Normally, I would go to flightconnections.com, type in Auckland, and then start clicking through all of these different options to fly into San Francisco or Los Angeles or New York, etc. But there is an issue with this usual approach, and that is that most of the direct flights are operated by Air New Zealand. As you can see here with New York, it's only operated a few days a week. And Air New Zealand is notoriously terrible with having their flight show up on any partner availability that we would be able to access from the United States. So that's out. So we have to go a little bit more off of base principles, and almost everything going into New Zealand is going to have connecting flights either through the South Pacific or through Asia or somewhere else. So the first place that I would check for flights is going to be with Qantas's program. And you won't be flying on actual Qantas metal because, once again, that's very difficult to actually find on either their own website or any partner websites. But if we go to seats.aero and then click Explore and then view Qantas, we can show flights from North America over to Oceania, which would include Auckland, New Zealand, and then I'm going to set the filter to full year since I have the Pro feature. Then I'm going to click on the down arrow next to business class so that we can see all of the different flights, and I will also filter the arrival airport to Auckland. And so here you can see that since there are no flight prices highlighted in green, there's not any direct flight deals. Everything has a connection. And most of what we're seeing is going to be pretty far out in the calendar. You either have August, September, late July of next year, and I'm filming this in October, or with some other examples we'll go over later, you can book some stuff that's closer in. So let's take this first example where on September 9th, you could fly from Los Angeles over to Auckland for about 95,000 points, bookable through Qantas, and it's operated by Fiji Air. We're going to make sure that that flight actually exists, so that what you'll do next is go to Qantas, search from LAX over to Auckland on September 9, and I would also make sure you check box rewards. We're just searching for one adult for now in business class, and then select that you're flexible with dates. Then go ahead and click search flights. And then here we see there's not a lot of availability, but we do have a business class flight option from Los Angeles over to Fiji, then from Fiji over to Auckland, and it's 94.9 thousand points plus $81 in taxes and fees. And I know that sounds like a lot of points, but keep in mind that New Zealand is like at the end of the earth. It's 11 hours of flight time from Los Angeles to Fiji, and then another 3 hours from Fiji over to Auckland. So that's like 14 hours in business class with Fiji Air, which I've heard great things about. So I would consider 95,000 points still within the realm of reasonability based off of my 10K rule, where I'm willing to pay up to 10,000 points per hour in business class. So that's just one way that you can fly over to New Zealand in business class. Let's go over a couple of your other options.
Are you enjoying these types of videos? If yes, please let me know. Smash that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for even more free step-by-step tutorials every week. And if you love free resources that let you maximize your points, check out geobreezetravel.com/quiz. There, you will find a free short quiz that will point you to the best resources depending on whether you are trying to earn more points, redeem your points, or something else. And by taking the free quiz, you will also get access to the free Points 101 course, which is a fantastic resource for anybody just getting started with points and miles. Next up, let's talk about how to find flight deals if you are more of a last-minute planner.
The next program that we're going to talk through for finding flights over to New Zealand is with United. If you want to get one of those direct flights between Auckland and the United States on Air New Zealand, United is probably going to be your best bet, but it is still going to be tough. What I would do is go to seats.aero, click on Explore, then click on United. We're going to show flights from North America over to Oceania, filter to the full year, and then sort by business class lowest. And then we're going to filter arrival airports down to Auckland. There are 3 dates in the next year where you can fly a direct flight over to Auckland from the United States. If I hover over these, the first 2 from Houston over to Auckland each only have 1 seat available. This is with Air New Zealand. And then this flight from Los Angeles over to Auckland, it looks like there's a flight on Air New Zealand for 110,000 points, and then also some that go through Sydney, and those are 200,000 points. These are all also more like last-minute flights. They're end of November, end of October. But if that fits your schedule, then I would go ahead and go to United, click on Houston over to Auckland, November for 1 adult in business class, one-way, booking with miles, flexible dates. Go ahead and click Find Flights. And here we see a couple dates where the saver price is 100,000 points, and it's showing 100,000 instead of 110,000 because I do have the United Explorer card, which allows me to see more award space and also has a bit of a card member discount of 9%. So it's 100,000 points plus $47 to fly this direct flight from Houston over to Auckland, but I think there's only 1 seat available. If I were to redo this search from Houston over to Auckland with 2 travelers in November, let's see if that card member perk shows multiple dates. Yeah, once I bring it up to 2 people every single date, it's going to cost at least 300,000 points per person, one way. So United is a great option if you are flying solo and you are really flexible with your schedule and you can fly last minute. Otherwise, this one's going to be pretty tough in order to find flights over to Auckland. Connecting flights aren't any better. You could do this one through Vancouver. Again, there's only 1 seat there. And all of the other options are 200,000 points, where if you're looking for multiple seats, the good news is there are 9 seats or more available on these flights. The bad news is it's 200,000 points, which is way more than I would recommend paying to fly to New Zealand. So let's check out some other options. Since Air New Zealand is a Star Alliance partner, and they were showing some availability with United, the next one that I would check is Air Canada. Same exact process on seats.aero, filtering from North America over to Oceania, with the arrival airport as Auckland and sorting by business class lowest. Good news is it's cheaper through Air Canada than United, and Air Canada has more transfer partners. Bad news, I think you're going to run into the exact same thing, where there's only 1 seat left if you wanted these direct flights from Air New Zealand. So exact same availability that we were seeing with United's partner flights. There's a couple dates from Houston over to Auckland at the end of November, 1 from Los Angeles over to Auckland at the end of October. We can do a quick search for that one, where we say LAX over to Auckland on October 28th, and then click Find. And that one just has 1 seat left as well. So if you want to fly with somebody over to New Zealand, United and Air Canada are not going to be the best options for you based off of what we're seeing on seats.aero. Let's see if we can find an airline that has multiple seats available.
If you are in the market for a new card like the United Explorer card to get discounts on award flights, but you're not sure what card to get, check out our free credit card consultation form at geobreezetravel.com/consultations. We will send you a personalized recommendation based on your particular goals, budget, and lifestyle. Or if you already know what card you want to get, check out our card links at geobreezetravel.com/cards. Okay. So what do you do if you need to book multiple seats on a business class flight to New Zealand? That can be pretty tricky, and here's why.
If you are a little bit on the, I'll say, desperate side to find many seats over to New Zealand, I think Singapore Airlines is going to be your best bet. Where let's say we needed to redeem flights from Los Angeles over to Auckland, New Zealand, and we're just going to search for one way for now and then search further out into the calendar. and say that we need business class for 4 people. Let's go ahead and click search. And here we do see there's availability pretty much every day, but it's so expensive. It's 218,000 points per person. Sometimes you can find saver space for 175.5 thousand points per person one way, but that is really, really expensive. You might as well just pay the 200,000 with United unless you can find this saver space. But as I'm clicking through from Los Angeles over to Auckland, there's not a lot where you can find 4 seats with that saver space. Let's see if we can find this for 2 adults instead of 4, just in case you just need 2 tickets. And here we do see on August 31st of next year, there is saver space for 2. There wasn't for 4. But if you just have 2 people traveling, this is interesting. It says up here that it should be available, but when you're actually selecting the flight, it is waitlisted. So you might be striking out with Singapore Airlines as well. This is one of the tougher destinations to find anywhere good. Something that I've often advised clients to do is if you can get somewhere into the vicinity like Australia or just fly to Singapore or somewhere else in Southeast Asia and piece together some flights, that might be an option. So here I found some saver space on August 17 for 175.5 thousand miles. It does have 2 connections. It goes from Los Angeles over to Tokyo, has a 17-hour layover there, then Singapore with a 5.5-hour layover, and then Auckland. So not the greatest of itineraries or the greatest of price points because it's 175,000 per person. Again, if you're getting truly desperate and Seats.Aero is not showing you anything, might be worth looking into Singapore Air, because sporadically you will find the saver space, but the saver space is not that savvy.
We have one more set of tutorials. It has a good balance of flight options to New Zealand if you are booking for multiple people and need to book flights within the dead zone. That is, you're booking not quite 10 months out, but also not last minute. And if you would like to level up your points game even more, we have a couple of options for you. The first one is the GeoBreeze Travel Patreon, which you can join starting at just $5 per month through patreon.com/GeoBreezeTravel. Every month, we prepare personalized step-by-step tutorials for the routes that our members request. We also provide open forum group coaching where you can ask any questions that you have about points, miles, and credit cards in general. And we talk through some of the tips that I am not really supposed to mention on social media. And if you are looking to get even more free travel with points, and you're a business owner or individual who spends $100,000 or more per year on expenses, check out our one-on-one points portfolio management service. We typically save our clients somewhere between $30,000 and $60,000 in travel in the first 6 to 12 months of working with our team. If that sounds like something that you would be interested in, book a free intro chat with us at geobreezetravel.com/intro call to learn more. Okay, let's cover how to fly to New Zealand with American Airlines miles.
This has been pretty tough lately. Let's just go to Seats.Aero, click on the search tab, and say we want to find anything from the USA over to Auckland where there's at least 2 seats. And I'm going to do super broad searching because I think the lesson here is that if you want to fly to New Zealand, you cannot have specific dates that you want to fly. It's just kind of a let's see when there is saver space. So really far out, if we are searching at the end of the calendar, that's where we're seeing a lot of that Qantas availability that we saw earlier. If instead of August and September, we want to search June and July, the best option is still Qantas in that range, but there's not much for June and July. Let's check April and May, and your best option is nothing. There is no availability whatsoever from the United States to Auckland if you are searching in April or May of next year. If we do February and March, your best option is still nothing. There's absolutely nothing in February and March. If we're searching December to January, oh, this is rough. There is still nothing in December to January. So let's see November to December. And here we finally have things that are starting to pop up. So the usual advice of you need to search either really far out or really close in works for this destination as well. So if we need at least 2 seats, it looks like your best option close in is going to be with American Airlines, where, according to this, there is a direct flight that you can take for as little as 60,000 points with American Airlines, and that would be fantastic. So let's see if that actually exists. We're going to go to aa.com, click one way, redeem miles from Dallas Fort Worth over to Auckland, New Zealand. And I'm going to search for 2 passengers. Let's go ahead and click mid-November, which is when seats.aero said there should be some availability. Sort by business class lowest, and it's not looking like that 60,000 point price is coming up. Let's check on the calendar and filter to business or first class. All right, I don't see anything for 60,000 points, but there is something for 89,000 points on November 25th. So this is a direct flight on American Airlines Metal from Dallas Fort Worth over to Auckland, New Zealand. It's 15 and a half hours nonstop for 89,000 points and $47 in taxes and fees. Not bad at all. But as you can see on the calendar, there is just not a lot of good saver space. So if you want to fly to New Zealand, I would recommend being very flexible with your dates. There's one other date that's 80,000 points at the end of October that we're seeing on the calendar. This one says it has 3 seats left. It goes from Dallas over to Los Angeles, over to Sydney, over to Auckland. That's kind of gross. If you want to go from the East Coast, because I know most of the recommendations we've had in today's video have been from the West Coast, let's check from JFK over to Auckland and see what the American Airlines calendar can find there. If we search on this calendar as well and filter to business or first class, well, not a lot from JFK. There was one date that had it for 137,000 in October. The cheapest price is 250,000 points in business class. December is 187,000. So you might need to get creative on your positioning flights too, because there's just a lot more from the West Coast instead of the East Coast, where the saver space that American Airlines is showing is more like 200,000. The 74.5 thousand price point that seats.aero is showing, I'm just not seeing that at all. So if you want to fly to New Zealand, it's going to take multiple levels of flexibility. You'll probably need to be flexible on your date. You'll probably need to be flexible on your positioning flight, how many people you are taking with you, and the kind of points you have. Because unfortunately, none of the major points programs will transfer over to American Airlines anymore. So in case you've been trying to find flights to New Zealand and you've been struggling, it's not you. It's just a very difficult destination to book on points. But hopefully some of these tips and tricks have helped and can help you to get some great award seats in the future.
I hope you found those tutorials useful. Let me know in the comments what destination I should cover next, and please subscribe to the GeoBreeze Travel newsletter if you would like to request a free personalized tutorial for a route that you want to fly. In the meantime, if you enjoyed these tutorials, I think you will enjoy this video next.